Hello, hello. You have arrived. I have arrived as well. I thought I was going to be a minute late or so, but right on time. Alright, make sure I have all my windows open here. Chat, the list picker thing with the list of sketch request ideas generated and ready to run and pick from, so we can do some random sketch requests. Hello, how you doing? Alright, let's see. I should have just put this on the screen, but I have the list, the ongoing list of sketch requests in a random list picker thing, and I'm gonna hit run to pick one from the list. It's been a while since I did. It's been a couple months now since I did these, so we'll see. I don't even remember what's on here. Let's find out. Hi there. How you doing? Happy Friday. Let's hit run. I'm gonna do a drum roll here. Deku and Korok's Zelda. Okay. That'll be a good warm-up. Deku, Zelda. The Koroks will be a really good warm-up, actually. We're doing something different. Yeah, it's been a minute. Let's shake it up. I could do the little Deku scrubs. I could do Link as a Deku from the old games, where he's got like the little trombone horn thing. Deku scrub Link. There's so many things I could do. Let's warm up with some Koroks, just to get something on the screen. Alright, let me just pull up a reference image here and get some fun little guys sketched. They are the leafy guys. They're the little leafy fellas. I just have a reference image pulled up. I'm just gonna start sketching and see what happens. Let's see. Holding one like a baby. We could do that, yeah. Let's do some warm-ups with regular schmegular Koroks. Oh, this one's cute. I like this little fat stumpy guy. If we're gonna do one as a baby, I think it should be this little one that's kind of onion-shaped. I haven't drawn much today. I did a little bit of client work earlier, but this is kind of my warm-up. And I kind of like that they're, you know, low poly and they have this like cel-shaded look on them. On this reference. I don't know what game this one is from the screenshot, but I like that because I like doing these hard edges on things. Here's his little leaf mask. Little eye. Bigger eye hole down here. His funny little mouth. I like that they're very simple shapes. This is right up my alley. Little stumpy feet. Little stumpy arm. Whoa, I didn't mean to widen him like that. And then erase this extra, where it would just be the leaf. Have Link holding it. Now Deku Link holding a Deku. Or holding a Deku. Holding a Korok, perhaps? I kind of want to block this out with some color really quick. Because, I mean, look how simple he is. I think he'll come together really quickly. And then just separate, so this will be like a darker green and this will be a lighter green. And then this is like the shadow. Let's actually squeeze him in a little bit. I like his silly little eye. Mismatched eye shape. Make this a little smaller. His mouth a little wider. I haven't done color anything on this stream in a minute, so let me quickly throw together something in color. You would like your own version of Koroks in your world Floria because it fits the plant theme? It would fit a plant theme. They can be found in different shapes and sizes. Yeah, there's a bunch of different ones. I literally just Google image Koroks and I just like this little fella. I'll change this to a more greeny brown here in a second, but I feel like this would be an easy one to just kind of do some color on. Yeah, what should we name this particular little guy? Taking name suggestions. And even this one's a little bit unique from the reference I'm looking at, because the proportions of this one are slightly different from the reference I'm looking at. I'm really loosely copying what I'm seeing here. So he's still unique. I think I should draw one holding a little leaf umbrella, maybe. Maybe the little baby one that Link's holding could do that. I don't know. Name him Dave. Sure. That's a good name. It's a person's name. The Family Guy bit where they named the cat Paul. Sure, this can be Dave. Or Braun. That could be his middle or last name, perhaps. Happy to take all suggestions. Now I'm going quiet so early in the stream just because I locked into doing the color. What's everyone doing this weekend? Huh? The Deku script has the same first name as the main character, Deku, from My Hero Academia. It's not familiar. I don't follow anime. I guess enough to know MHA is My Hero Academia, right? Unless I got that totally wrong. But other than that, I am clueless. And it would be even funnier if it was a totally different show that's MHA. And not My Hero Academia. Alright, we'll do this nice leaf mask with lots of sharp edges. It's an anime, yeah. I know of it. I don't know anything about it, though. I assume it's an academy where people become heroes. A school for heroes. Okay, so I did get it right. I was like, unless they made a new show that fits MHA as an acronym that I didn't know about. Oh, I have to bring the body up a little bit here. I can see there's an empty spot. There we go. And let's hope for what? That you have something fun planned this weekend? Not I. I have a client I have to work with tomorrow afternoon. That was the only time they were free to do a Zoom call. I'm like, okay. Tomorrow afternoon it is. But yesterday I had a thrill. The thrill of a lifetime. I went to a dentist appointment, and they basically told me my mouth looks fine and to go home. So it was through the dental college, which is like the more affordable way to get your teeth fixed. And, I haven't been to the dentist in a while, and, I thought, well, let me go get my teeth checked out. They looked at my teeth, and they're like, your teeth are fine. You take good care of your teeth. Like, we don't need to have you as a comprehensive care patient, so be on your way. And they didn't even charge me for it, so that was great. I was a little worried. I was like, I haven't been to the dentist in about 5, maybe 6 years. Surely there's something wrong with my mouth by now, but no. So that was good. And the only thing I wasted was the time to get out there, but it wasn't so bad. It's not so bad when all you do is you just sit on the train and listen to music. It's kind of relaxing. It's not like it was a high traffic commute, so. It was a quick it wasn't too bad. It was like an hour to get down there to the medical campus or whatever, but again, you're just sitting on the train listening to music, so it's really fun. Yeah, she took a look at my mouth for like 2 seconds and was like, because it was a student that looks at your mouth first because it's a dental college. She's like, let me go get my faculty member to see if he agrees. And I'm like, this has got to be like the most busted mouth she's ever seen. And I'm like the perfect candidate for this like multi-week long treatment or whatever. And no, the actual dentist came by and was like, no, your teeth look good. You don't need any fillings, like no gum disease, no blah, blah, blah. Thanks, doc. So that was nice. There was almost a throwdown in the waiting room because some lady's kids were being insane, and this other lady calmly was like, could you quiet your kids down, please? I'm getting a headache. And it almost popped off, and it was a whole thing. She's like, they're kids. I was hoping for some drama, but it didn't escalate further than that because they ended up having to leave for some other reason. So I was like, dang, there goes my entertainment. Drama. You've always taken good care of your teeth. I don't know, because I forget to floss sometimes, so I'm like, there's got to be something wrong with them by this point, but I guess I floss often enough that it's fine, so. You're not doing much this weekend, but next week you're having your first sleepover in forever. Congrats! Have fun. Have fun with your friend. Godzilla. Godzilla, but the god is removed, so it's Godzilla. That's a cool nickname. That will be fun. I miss sleepovers. Sleepovers and birthday parties where you have friends over to play like Nintendo 64 games, because that's how old I am. Those were the best. Somebody orders pizza. Good memories. Let me just do a little bit of like, I want some blue in the green. I don't want it to be all green, you know? Maybe a little bit of like this kind of color. Ooh, that's pretty. Mesh it with some green, maybe get a little extra blue on the edges. Maybe that's too light. Ooh, that like greeny minty color is cool. Just add a little something. And then maybe yet more yellowy green. Oh, since this is the darker side, maybe this should be more blue, and then the lighter side should be more yellow. I think that would look pretty. Let's try that. Let's do some more yellowy green on this side. Maybe even more actual yellow in there. Get like a dustier green. Maybe like that. I kind of like how chunky the texture is here too. I don't want to smooth it out too much. It doesn't look super leafy, but I don't mind it. It still reads as a leaf because of the shape, so I think that's okay. Are we calling this guy Dave or Braun? You could be Dave Braun. Your favorite color is green, mean leaves purple for everything. Purple's a great color for shading and everything. Green reminds you of the plants. Yeah, there's all types of different... I think green has the most visible shades of any color. Something to do with the rods in our eyes can perceive more shades of green than any other color. I believe I read that somewhere. I could just be pulling that out of thin air, but I think that's true. I'm like 95% sure that's true. And then there's like these sections of highlight. You know what? I could use purple for this part actually. Because it looks like there's different styles of Korok, like leaf shading, how they stylize it, but I kind of like these shapes. So I'm going to go with this. Since every Korok is unique, I can't be wrong, right? So I'm just... I want to do a couple of these to make it look a little bit more leafy, but I'm going to change this to a different blending mode so it's not solid purple. It'll be like blended. And it might not even stay purple, but we're going to start with purple and see how it goes. See if it gives me the look that I'm looking for. Yeah, there's different shapes of shading that they do on the ones I have pulled up on Google, but I kind of like this like tiger stripe kind of shape. That's the most interesting to me. So let's do that. And then let's change this to maybe overlay. See, it doesn't look purple if you do overlay, but I kind of like that look. Is there other blending modes that keep the different color? Not so much. It kind of just turns it gray, but that's okay. Darker color keeps a bit of that purple, but it looks like washed out. So maybe just go with overlay and then make it like that. And then fix this a little bit because I want it to separate right where the leaf actually separates. That looks alright. And I think the purple works because if you use solid black, sometimes it gets really muddy gray. when you do like different adjustment layers like that or blending modes, so I think that looks good. And then we'll do alpha lock and we'll do the body real quick. Let's see, we should call him Branch or Twig. Twig's a cute name. I like Twig. His body's actually quite a bit greener than this random color I picked. We're gonna start with a neutral gray and then we're gonna add some like yellowy, more yellowy than that. Like that, a little bit green. That's better. Add some of these shades in. I'm gonna change this background color to something a little darker so we can see. And add more of a green tint. Maybe a few other different colors. Like he's a little bit mossy, just a touch. But maybe a little lighter and more yellowy at the top because the sun's hitting him up here. And then he'll have a shadow underneath his little belly and under where the leaf mask is. So let's do that. We'll also do that with purple. And do the same thing with the overlay. So I think that'll work out well. And let's do clipping masks so we're not painting outside the lines. We'll start with this really bright purple because I want to see if this makes a difference in the blending modes. How it looks. We'll do this kind of chunky shadow on the stomach here. About that shape. And we're just going to extend that all the way down except for like maybe a little sliver of the foot. Gets a little bit of sunlight. I'm like falling outside of the frame. I didn't realize I'm like squishing myself up against the camera. Not paying attention. That's better probably. It's not really the point of the stream, the webcam, but it certainly does look better when I'm not smashing myself up against the edge of it, huh? Then I guess it's backwards. The shadow would be over on this side of the little leggy. Get a highlight right about here. You like Twig? Yeah, Twig's the winner, I think. That's a cute name. Let's do a little shadow under the leaf. And not that side. We do a little shadow over here. I guess that'll kind of blend into here. That works. And then do a little bit one over here as well. Not as heavy as the ones underneath. A little bit here too. And then we'll change the blending mode of that. I kind of like it just purple like that. Honestly, it looks kind of cool, but let's try. Ooh, I like the red purple that it gives it. It's kind of different. I like that. I think he looks cute. What do we think? Old leaf. And we'll do some chalk texture, but we're gonna do yellow. I want to get some like sunny speckles of sun on him. I don't know. Warm him up a smidge. Let's just try to. Ooh, I like the color dodge. Like that. You know what? I got a better idea. Let's do noise. And then lower that opacity. Just to get that texture. And then we'll do. Let's see. Let me make a copy of this. And I want to flatten it. Duplicate. Then we'll flatten it all into one. And then we can do a clipping mask. And just highlight what we want to highlight. So we could do like some bright yellow sun lighting up top, like here. And then on the bottom would be some like purplish, cool shadow like that. And then if we do overlay, it kind of brightens it up and warms him up a little bit and cools off that shadow. Looks like the sunlight's hitting him a bit more. And let's change this background color to something a little warmer or greener. Ooh, I like that. That's very woodsy. I'm into that. Maybe a little bit darker. Aw, Leaf. Look how cute he is. How sweet is he? If it's something simple like this, I can do the color pretty fast, huh? Alright, Leaf. Leaf. I'll put his name under him. Look at how beautiful. Say hello to our new friend, Leaf. Twig Barkson the Third. Oh, that can be his full name. But he goes by Leaf for short. Twig Barkson the Third. Little heart for the eye. How special is that? Whoa. Center it a little bit. What a beautiful new friend we've made. Take a sip of my water here. And then I'll quickly sketch Deku Link holding a Korok like a baby, because I do think that's a cute idea. I don't know if I'll go all the way to color with that, but I do want to sketch it, so. Me in the background thought it was Leaf. Leaf, Twig Barkson the Third. Alright. Let's do... I'll do a new canvas. Just cause I want to actually I'll post this one to social media, and I've been meaning to do a carousel post of all the hybrid animals I've done in the last 100 years, so I'll get around to it. But I like how he turned out. Simple but cute. 10 by 10. Let's make this gray so it's not scary on my face. Thank you. And alright, Deku Link. Deku Link. He looks so sad in all these reference pictures. And he always looked a little haunted and upset in Majora's Mask, didn't he? Also, can you guys hear me? I feel like I'm like... I guess you can, because I feel like I'm really far away from the mic, but I guess it's okay. Alright, yeah, that's a good enough reference. But let's make him look happy. Let's make him look like he's having a good time holding the... And he's like... In the reference, he's holding a little flower, right? So maybe he can be cradling a little Korok that's got a little flower stuck to him or something. Or, I don't know. I'll think of something. A flower-shaped leaf mask. Like a clover-shaped mask. Yeah, they do have clover mask Koroks, so I'll open that as a reference as well. Or you'd be holding a little flower. That'd be cute. Let's open that on this side. And get Deku Link on this side. Alright. Whoa. Redo the change background color. There. Better. Alright. Let's figure out how big his head is compared to the rest of his body. It kind of gets thrown off because his hat is so huge. This Deku Link hat is like ginormously long. His eyes are very large and kind of sad looking. We'll make him look like he's like happy tears, you know, instead of like sad. Well, I guess you can't, because you can't turn up the corners of his mouth because it's like this O expression like Birdo. So he'll just look kind of sad. But rest assured he's not. These big pointy chunks of hair. Let's figure out how big his body is before I get too settled in on details, because I want to mess around with this nose. Isn't quite right. It should be out a little further like that, but again, before I get too into that, let's figure out the shape and proportions of the body. Maybe he could be snuggling it up to his face, so it's like cute, and he has little happy cheeks and maybe happy eyebrows. He doesn't have like eyebrows in the official art, but I think we can do like this anime like eyebrows floating over the hair kind of move, just to help with the fact that he looks like scared and sad, and we want him to look like happy because he found a cute little Korok. We want him to look happy. He's got a glove kind of like so. And here's a happy little fat baby Korok, and he's got like a clover-shaped mask. We'll fix the eyes and whatnot in a bit. And he's got two little horns, so one here, one here. He's got the other hand cradling him like that. And the little leggies are sticking up like that, like a little bouncing baby bundle of joy. He's got his little like leaf skirt or green skirt, I guess. Tunic fabric. His little boots. I haven't read the chat in a second. Let's see if everybody hates this or not. Let's see. See the hybrids we made through the millions of years after the sketch? Yeah, we sure can. I'll go through them. Has anyone seen the trailer? I haven't seen the trailer yet. I heard people say it looked pretty cute though. And the discussion of what the baby animals of Judy and Nick are gonna look like, if they're gonna be like dragon donkey hybrids from Shrek or something. Like, it's implied that he's gonna be a dad because he's wearing a shirt that says like Foxy Dad or something in the still I saw from the trailer on Twitter. So people are trying to figure out what the babies are gonna look like. Or it'll be like Lady and the Tramp, where it's like half of them look like dad and half of them look like mom, so it's just like, you know, 2 bunnies and 2 foxes or something like that. Or maybe they adopt. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll see if they do some hybrid animals in Zootopia. I don't think they will, because they're all like regular animals in Zootopia. So I'm thinking either it'll be like a mix of bunnies and foxes, and they just don't explain how that works, or they just adopt a completely different animal. It's a cartoon. They can do whatever they like. This shoe is much bigger than this one as far as like the top of it. Let's squish this. Here we go. You think they're just trolling? Like maybe it's a scam that Nick's running or something that Judy's in on for some reason. I think his scamming days are over and behind him though, right? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Nobody's really gonna know till the movie comes out, huh? It would be funny if they went the Shrek route, and it's just like these hybrid fox bunnies. That'll be for the next hybrid stream whenever I feel like doing it. Fox bunny baby hybrids, just to speculate on that. And then there's like wood texture for the body. Little skirt wraps around him like so. I feel like he looks off balance. Let me do that thing where it's like one straight line down from the chin should be about where a heel hits. If that's the case, we want to move these over, or at least this one. That might be a little better. Yeah, okay, there's something underneath the chin here, so it doesn't look like he's gonna fall over. This hat is throwing me off because this, like, there's so much visual weight with this giant long hat, and it kind of threw me off what looks balanced or not. You just warp him around a little bit. We'll do the eyebrows over the hair, but the eyes won't be over the hair. It's kind of like, they do that in like 90s, 80s anime where they have the eyebrow over top of the hair. I think that works. And then for the Korok, a lot of them have little noses that stick through the leaf. So we're going to give him a little nose and a happy little smile like that. I do want some uneven eyes, so we'll make this eye smaller and this eye larger. And then I just noticed that he's got, like, some of these Koroks have like kind of tiger stripes on their bellies as well, so we'll do that. And then for the clover shading, I'm thinking like a thin outline around the edge. And then it's almost like that. This is a very messy sketch, but I can decipher this mess. I think, anyway. When I trace it, I'll figure it out. I want to figure out the width and length and size of this nose mouth thing really quick. I think that works. And I kind of want the little Korok to be holding the flower that Deku Link is holding in this reference. Just holding this little flower like so. And these shoes are still like completely different sizes, but I think it's okay. They don't have to be perfect. They're a little bit different in the ref as well. One shoe is kind of like long like this, and the other one's like chunky. So I think it's okay if they're a little mismatched. It's paying homage to the original artists. Homage. Paying omelette du fromage. Alright. Who's the character? Yeah, it's Deku Mask Link from Majora's Mask, and I'm sure others. Like, did Deku Mask Link make an appearance in Ocarina of Time? I don't remember. I was more into Majora's Mask, and by into I mean that was the one that we rented from the video game rental place. I never owned either. I should try to beat them as an adult, but I have not yet. But I did like Majora's Mask. Or at least as far as I got into it. Okay, we're gonna lower the opacity and try to decipher all the lines I made here and make it look, you know, like something. I mean, it kind of does, but it's a little bit of a mess, so let's clean it up. And he's holding a Korok, which I think is across the whole series, if not at least 5 or 6 games have Koroks. Though, does Majora's Mask have Koroks? This is how bad my memory is, guys. I don't remember. Whatever, it's the same franchise. We'll call it a crossover if they're not even in the same game. That's fine. It's fine. Every time you hit the time loop, you gave up. You don't know. He wears a mask, at least in Majora's Mask. That's how he transforms into this. He wears like a mask that looks kind of like a hollowed out coconut. That turns him into this. And I don't remember what for, except you have different like abilities. Like you can jump and spin, I think, to like float a little bit with the mask on. If I remember right. Very hazy memory on this. I was hoping a Zelda fan would pop in and be like, actually, the function of the Deku Scrub Link is to blah blah blah, and correct me. I don't know, I'm just making up game facts here. I think that was the point of him being Deku Scrub, is you could get across to different things with his little mask ability. Majora's Mask was hard. I think they're supposed to be in basically the same universe, but like don't think too hard about it, you know, because like the timelines don't necessarily match up from one game to the next. It's I like to think of it as more of a folk tale than like an actual timeline story, if that makes any sense. Like you know, a different culture might do their own retelling of, say, Beauty and the Beast, you know. And it's like, yeah, that exists in the same universe as the Disney Beauty and the Beast, I guess, but it's also kind of its own thing. So, I don't think it matters so much. I don't think, there's not like one cohesive timeline for all of them, though. There's similar things or the same things across multiple games. But a lot of them are like completely different gameplay and stories. They're all very good, though, in their own way. I got a little burnt out. I was just talking about this with someone the other day. I got burnt out by Tears of the Kingdom, and I don't even own it anymore. that's left behind in an old place. But I got burnt out with it. It was so fun for a while, and then like having to build stuff to solve the puzzles, like, it got really old really fast for me. It lost my interest, but it was really cool for a while. My favorite part of that game and Breath of the Wild, honestly, was unlocking the map. Like, finding the towers and unlocking the map. Like, once I had the whole map unlocked, I kind of was like, I'm good on exploring and doing stuff now. They need to invent a game for me that's just unlocking a gigantic map and exploring. And you get 100% completion when you unlock the full map. And then that's the game. So I got a real kick out of doing that. Did anyone watch the new Sony movie K-Pop Demon Hunters because it was amazing? I have not seen it. How was it? I haven't seen that one. Sorry, I got quiet here for a second. Just overthinking how I'm gonna fix these lines, because I want this to match this side, right? Well, that looks close enough. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle, I guess. That'll work. There we go. It's good. There's a romance plot that's a bit cliche, though. That's not so bad. If that's the worst fault with the movie, then there are worse crimes to be committed. Sounds like fun. Oh, that end of that hat looks totally wrong. It shouldn't go out. It should go in. There we go. It was kind of like inflated like a balloon a bit. There. That looks better. Alright. And we'll do just this outer outline of the leaf, because I want to do the shading and details on a layer underneath. I won't be doing color, but like grayscale shading I think would be good. Just for the little details of the leaf and the lines on the belly and things like that. The wood texture on Link. I think that'll work. See, it was turned on its head when the lover died. It's kind of like Romeo and Juliet. It's like a remixed Romeo and Juliet kind of plot. I mean, what's the saying? There's nothing new under the sun, right? So everything's kind of a remix of a story that exists if you dig too far, but a simple story told well is always good. And I think I want to make these lines a little bit thicker up here. And then take away this overlap up here on the top part of the hat. And the body would end right around here. We're just doing 3 fingers, even though Deku Scriblink has 4 fingers on each hand. We're not doing that. Artistic license. My excuse for not doing that. See, now as soon as you take the sketch away, the line widths look all funky now. Alright, let's figure this out. So if the light's coming from up here, I kind of want the lines to be a little bit thicker and heavier on the underside. So we'll do like a thick, heavy shadow. And this will kind of pay tribute to, I don't want to do necessarily the harsh black, because, you know, ooh, maybe I could actually. Alright, maybe we will do that. Change of plans here. I was like, I'm not doing color on this, so maybe I could do the really dark, solid black shading that Deku Scriblink has. It does make him look a little sadder and gloomier, but it also looks cool, and it's a throwback to like the old N64 game look, because everything had black shading back in the day. It was very harsh, but it did give things like a very era-specific look. It looks like nostalgic and retro now. Heavy, heavy black shading. We'll do a little bit of a fabric fold here on this big long hat. Kind of looks like comic book shading a little bit as well. Though I do still want to do details on the leaf. How could we do this with black shading and not make it look overwhelming? I guess just the outline here. And then make really simple lines so as to not get too overwhelming with the detail. Make the eye a little bit bigger so it doesn't run into that line. We'll keep these lines really simple. Okay, that still gives kind of detail. And then we'll do these little tiger stripes on the belly in black. I want it to look round still though. Do like 2. I don't want the foot underneath it. I want it to overlap it a little bit. Well, he kind of looks like a little bumblebee that way. That's cute. Well, isn't that precious? He's a cute little baby bumblebee. I like that actually. I like that. The leaf looks like a butterfly. Yeah, it does look like a butterfly a little bit. I guess it's supposed to be modeled after the clover one I was looking at has like bigger on top and then smaller on the bottom, which is even more butterfly-ish. I made this one a little bit more even to kind of mimic the even petals of the flower shape up there. So he kind of looks like a flower, which is maybe how he caught Link's eyes. He's just been holding that flower and it's like, hey, this little guy looks just like my flower I've been carrying around. I can't remember if there's a story significance to the flower either. It could be like Zelda's flower or something. I don't know. I'm just looking at the reference picture on Google. I wish I had a better memory for this stuff because I'm sure there's some meaning to it that I'm just completely forgetting or missing here. Dark, heavy black shadows on the gloves. A little bit on the finger here. Do some on the boots as well. Inside the boots. I think it looks pretty cool actually. Maybe a little bit on the flower just to make it cohesive with everything else. And the leaf. That looks much better than it did about 5 minutes ago. What do we think? And I hear him falling off the edge of the... Yeah, they do have really dark shading. Yeah, a lot of old N64 games, even like Mario Party, Mario Kart, something about the way they did shading on 3D figures back then, they used black for the shading a lot, so it kind of gives it a very harsh look. But especially in this concept art or this official art of the Deku Scrub, it's got like the heavy black shadow, so I thought that was kind of cool. I can close these out now. Yeah, attention span comes and goes. It's pretty, the game's over, you get overwhelmed. Yeah, that was the case with me with Tears of the Kingdom, definitely. There's just too much stuff to do. I was like, forget it. It was the building stuff, which is really cool and fun when you first start doing it. And then I'm like, I'm out of ideas. And I know you can like program the machine, like you can program different blueprints for things and make it easier on yourself, but it was just like, it was too much engineering in my video game. You like it? Cool, cool, cool. So that's our second sketch of the night. Chugging along pretty well for not even a full hour in. I've got 2 under my belt here. I mean, they were technically the same request because it was Deku and Koroks, but still, 2 pictures down. All right. Let me get a sip of my water here real quick, and then we'll respin for a new prompt. All right, drum roll. Come on. Bear in the Big Blue House. Yes, I love this one. All right, let me remove it from the list along with Deku Scrub so we don't re-roll it. Yes, I love this one. I'm very excited. Okay. Where is it on the list? Okay, there it is. Get rid of that. And then get rid of Deku. Deku and Korok Zelda. Okay, remove from the list so they won't be re-rolled. Can we look at the hybrids? Oh yeah, good reminder. Let's do that. Alright, we'll go as far back as Basil. We'll go back as far as Basil. So here's Basil, the slug deer. I think I didn't put these in groups, so we're just gonna manually do them. Is he the only one that's on this document? He's the only one. We'll all be darned. What did I do to mess him up now? There we go. Basil. We have... What was this? What was this document? We don't need that. Rosy Posy. What was this one? Okay, this was Gerald Snickers. This was Fantasia sketching. Okay. This was 1.0 Gerald. We don't need that. We need Caterwing, the dragon caterpillar. We need Snowflake. I don't know why I keep saying we need. This is what we need. We need the ferret cat, Snowflake. What we really need is Honeyglow, the firefly hummingbird, which I'm going to put a dark background on so you can really see that glow. This is what we need, chat. And we also need the Cerberus salami, which had a name, I think, at one point, but perhaps not. Maybe just Cerberus salami was the name, because that's what it is. It's a three-headed mythical beast salami. Beautiful. And then we had the redesign of Gerald Snickers, which is much better than the first attempt. We'll have to do some color on him soon enough. We'll turn the lines back on. Then we did a couple weeks ago, I think. What's this one? This is the werewolf Brachiosaurus going awoo. We have the Triceratops mermaid, Sarah. We have Scott McTamanay, the Mothman chameleon. I believe it's a football player's name, if I remember right. Then we have Turt Keebles Russell, Keebs, the Keebster, the turtle Minotaur. I think he turned out really well. We'll leave him on the thumbnail. And then last week's, I thought turned out really well. We have Vanilla Bean, the lemur cat. We have a blank layer, that means nothing. We have Kashikoi Sayuchi the Fifth, aka Snugglebeam. Love him. I think he was my favorite of the last stream. We have Miss Spotty Moohoot, the snowy owl cow hybrid. I think she turned out cute as well. We have Pancake, the stingray dragon. Love him. Look at his delighted face. He's so happy. And last but not least, we have Berserker, the narwhal demon, which I think he turned out great. I want to do like final color art of Berserker for sure. And then we have the much older ones, but we'll be here all night if we go through every single one. I need to make a master post of like every single hybrid I've done so far and just put them up on a page somewhere for people to click through. That would be worth the time. We're going to delete this other Korok. We don't need a duplicate. We're going to keep Leaf, Twig, Barkson the Third. We're going to keep them. What are we on? Okay, Bear in the Big Blue House. Very exciting. Bear in the Big Blue House. I misspelled house there, but Google figured out what I was doing. I love the mouse from Bear in the Big Blue House as well. I'd love to draw the mouse. Maybe Bear can have the mouse on his hand. I think that would be cute. Let's see if I can get visual on the mouse and get visual on Bear. See how big Bear is compared to the mouse. It's a good scale. I like his very happy... He looks like a friendly dog. I don't know how else to describe Bear from Bear in the Big Blue House. He looks like a very friendly, like, Labrador or Golden Retriever or something to me. He looks very huggable. Oh, that's a good shot of him leaning out of the porch to show his shoulders and whatnot. You never watched it. It was like before my time. Like by the time it was on, I think I was too old for it, but I had seen clips of it, and I've gone back and watched clips of it on YouTube because I really like Fraggle Rock and like other Jim Henson musical stuff, and it's so sweet. It's such a sweet, good-hearted show. And it's very calming. It's like kind of ASMR before ASMR. I just need one really good picture of Bear where he's smiling and it's not a low resolution screenshot from the show. Anyone? Anyone? I might have to just wing it. Alright, Bear and mouse. I'm gonna pull all these up on my screen. And we're gonna wing it. And we're gonna do the best we can with these. These reference pictures could be better. They could be better, I'm not gonna lie. But we're gonna work with what we got. Where is the other picture? Right here. There's Bear. There's mouse. There's balcony with moon. Okay. I think I got this. Your brain is ready to leave. You're gonna go. Adios. Have a great rest of your day or night. I always forget what time of day it is across the world. But have a good one. Alright. We're gonna have... I like how big and like... I just like the sense of scale. It kind of reminds me of the thumbnail for this stream where the bear is kind of like taking up most of the thumbnail. I like the sense of scale. I want him to have a big, happy, goofy face. And we're gonna get kind of silly with it. He has a really long snout. And it's all fuzzy. So he's gonna have fuzz on his nose. His eyes are really close together and high up on the head. So maybe he's singing. He's got his big, shaggy eyebrows. And he's singing to his little mouse friend, who he's gonna have perched on his hand. But he's got this huge neck, big old shoulders. He's like a big, gentle beast of a bear. Berserker. Hey, how's it going? And we'll have little mouse here, perhaps. With his weird little eyes. And we'll make it kind of graphic, like graphic shapes, and not super realistic or anything like that. I think it'd be fun, and it's kind of a callback to the bear that I used for my thumbnail as well. I love how that bear turned out. Really simplify the bushy eyebrow shapes, make it like just a really simple shape. How do we make it look more like he's singing to the mouse? Maybe we lean him back a little bit. I just like the idea. I like the idea of the big hulking torso and neck taking up most of the screen, because I just love that. I love how big and gentle of a character he is with his little tiny friend. I might have to make the mouse smaller and the paw higher up. We'll fiddle with this composition until it looks interesting, because I think there's something to it. almost don't even want the other arm in the shot. It's just like, he's just so lurking and hulking. It's just all fluff. Like a hump here, and then it... something like that. Bean likes him, says, ah. Who, the Deku Scrub or Bear? She'll like the little mouse. I think he's a silly little guy. What does his full body look like with his little feet? Oh, he's got silly little feet. Oh, I love the mouse. He's so cute. I love when Muppets, their feet are just like the same material as the rest of them with just goofy little fat toes. That's so cute. He just has fuzzy little fat toes. Bear, aw. I think she'd like Bear in the Big Blue House as a show. I don't know if she likes Muppets or puppets yet, but if she does, I think she'd like Bear. He's really sweet. And Fraggle Rock. Fraggle Rock's got some bangers. Like, it's actually, like, the music on there is really good. And the mouse will look kind of upset like he always does. I don't think he actually is, but he looks very silly. She said she likes the mouse too. He's a very silly mouse. I'm glad she likes. Should I have his eyes crossed like that? Or maybe looking up at Bear? Or maybe he's just like over it because Bear's been singing his song all day and he's just like staring at the camera. Let's do his little hands. His nervous looking little fat fuzzy little hands. Oh. We'll do some big shapes to indicate lots of fur, but we're not going to add a bunch of detail because you don't need it, or I don't need it or want it. Maybe square composition wasn't the best, but it's alright. We can always crop it for social media later, like maybe chop it there. Or yeah, I want to get some of that shoulder hump in. I think that makes him look like a big gentle giant. Maybe make his head even a little bit smaller. And tilted more at mouse. Like that. Let's see, the neck connects to the head like that. Something like that. Maybe the head's a little bit too small. Maybe like that. And maybe make this, like the jowls on him, or the, whatever this part's called, make him square, rectangular. I think that's cute. I might block this one in rough color, actually. That might be faster than inking it. And maybe his other paw is like here and it's on the balcony of his big blue house. And the moon is huge normally, but we'll just put the moon in the background, like over here, smiling. So the moon will sing a whole song and everything, but I just want a little something in the background. You know, do a couple stars. Some clouds. Because if this was true to the show, that moon would be like this big. It's huge, but I like just having something in the distance in the background. I think it's cute. Doesn't have to be completely show accurate. It's just a cartoon. We'll do some more stars over here. Fluffy little puffy cloud. Maybe even more smooth than that. Not even puffy, just like, you know, cloudish shapes just to add a little interest to the background. That's cute. Big meaty paw on the railing here. And everything can be blue except for Bear, who will be orange. So the mouse is blue. And maybe most of the bear will be bluish, but just like highlights of orange on the edges. I think that might work, like monochromatic. Be very soothing, kind of nighttime, sleepy time color palette. And that's another guy I want to draw at some point, is the Sleepy Time T-Bear. That we all know and love. I'll draw that on my own time. Heck, I'm gonna add that to the list. My own requests for my own stream is the Sleepy Time T-Bear. So that would be out front, and then above that would be this paw. I'm just gonna grab random shades of blue and purple and we'll fix it in a minute. Whoops, not erase. There we go. Like so. I think those are the topmost layers. And just underneath we'll have this paw. And I could put this all in one layer as well. Because that railing's covering where it intersects anyway, so it's fine. After weeks of not doing like any color on stream except for little pops of color, it's kind of funny to do one stream where I'm just doing color right out of the gate. But for these simple things, I think it goes faster, you know? We'll do this shade of blue. We'll do like one chunk of fur here. Remember, I want to do one chunk like that. Maybe not even. Yeah, I will. I even want to make this neck a little bit more exaggerated. It's so like pointy. This like shoulder hump. Like that. I think that works. He still looks cuddly, but he's got this just big hulking shape to his shoulders, which I think is so cute. Because nowadays, if a character's cute, it's just straight up cute, you know? It's a cute cat, it's a cute bunny. It's very typically cute. I like that Bear is cute, but in like a slightly different way. Like, he has a very sweet face, and a sweet voice, and he's a sweet personality. But his body's kind of big and awkward, and maybe not something you would associate with being cute. And I like that about him. It makes him special. We'll do this, and we'll do the head on its own layer. So I think that'll work. A different flavor of cute. And then perhaps there should be just one more layer of fur. It'll be really small, but just something like that there underneath the balcony. That works. Just so that hand doesn't look like it's completely floating. The elbow and the shoulder and whatever can be kind of off screen. Maybe? You know, I'll do one shape here, but I'm gonna blend the top of this in to this, so it's gonna be like, it's not gonna look that crazy. But I do want to show that he does in fact have another arm, but it'll be subtle. I just like the idea, the visual in my mind of having this whole mass of the picture just being his big body. I think it's cute. I don't know if I want to add the fuzz to the ears. I'm going to keep it real simple. I'll add fuzz to the eyebrows because I think they need it, because that's a lot of his personality, is his big fluffy old man eyebrows. I like that he looks old too. Like, I think a lot of like cutesy characters, they look very youthful, and just kind of the traditional way you make something cute. You give it big eyes and you make it look more like a baby. But he's got little eyes that are close together, and he's got old man eyebrows, and he's got like kind of a weird, awkward big body, and he's adorable. More weird, awkward, old looking cute characters, please. I guess he's not weird looking. He's unconventionally cute. That's the right way to say that. You resemble that? The old man eyebrows? Bean probably thinks Bear is cute because it looks like you. Maybe that's why. Alright, get that in. I think the other ear would be hidden behind the eyebrow, so I'm not even going to bother drawing it in. Unnecessary. Let's do... I made 2 layers, didn't mean to. Let's do the whole muzzle snout shape on its own layer. I know I just drew it on that layer, but I kind of want it to be its own thing to make doing the mouth and nose a little bit easier. I'll do a clipping mask for that. And sorry in advance if I spend most of the rest of the stream on this, because I'm in it. Engaged in this one now. I had the vision. We'll do the eyebrows on this layer as well. We want the big fluffy old man eyebrows. Like so. They're even bushier than this in the show. They kind of like he has fur all over his eyebrows, but we're going to keep it simple. Like so. The mouse just looks ridiculous now. His little sketch. I forgot about him for a second while I was working on the eyebrows here. And I caught a glimpse of him when I zoomed out. And we could do the eyes on that layer too, but I'm going to do it on a layer underneath. Just so a little bit of that can get overlapped by the muzzle. And maybe even put the eyes a little bit closer together. That's about right. And then we'll do the inside of the ear. Make it real fuzzy too. Maybe even a third bit of fuzz. I don't want too many fine details, but I think having some fuzziness helps. Helps him look like Bear. You love the mouse's face. That's how he looks on the look at him. He just always looks like that. It's like that Kermit face where he's got his mouth scrunched. You know the one. Clipping mask. Ooh, it's so dark you can't even see. Let's bring the opacity up a bit. Still hard to see. Maybe the nose should be its own layer anyway, but nah, we're gonna stick with it. And just raise the opacity up. And his nose is a little bit more, it's like squared off on the sides, but rounded. So I'm gonna fix that. It's more of a squishy nose than a pointy nose, something like that. That's a little better. And then we'll do the same with the mouth shape. Lower the opacity a bit. We'll just use a random light blue so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Either this will be what I do for the rest of the stream, or I'll get like one more in after this. But I'm liking it so far, so I'm happy about it. And we'll do these cloud shapes as well, though I'm probably going to soften them up with like a chalk brush or something. But let me just get a general kind of... Ooh, I want it to be all horizontal. Like that. Yeah. More implied cloud shape than literal puffy clouds. I'll soften that all up with a chalk brush, I think. And it'll be really subtle when it's all done, but just to get the idea of it in there. I have a vision for this as well. That kind of shape is cool. In the background of the still of the show, it's very wispy clouds as well. It's not puffy clouds. We'll do a little bit of one over here just to break up this area that doesn't really have anything going on. Right over here, and then we'll do a little bit over here as well. I think that's enough cloud. And we can do the moon on this layer as well. It's just a circle. And then we'll do the stars and the face on the moon on a layer up top above everything else in solid black. So I can see what I'm doing. Where did that moon layer go? There we go. We'll do the stars in solid black as well, just so I can see. This actually needs... The moon actually needs one more layer for the eyes. We'll change this to be like a medium tone blue or something in a minute, but let's distort this like that. Looks about right. Does the moon have eyebrows? No, it doesn't. I might give the moon eyebrows as a artistic decision, but also the moon lives in the background and isn't the focus of the piece, so I think it's okay the way it is. A little bit of a line to imply the nose. It keeps it simpler without the eyebrows anyway. And then we'll do a big happy smile on the moon. No, there's no smile lines. Slightly open mouth, like it's talking or singing along. Very slightly open. So I want it to mainly look like a smile. Put a little line for the lip. Onto the moon. That looks alright. And then we'll do some stars. We'll do these in white. And we'll keep them real simple as well. Simple sparkles. Hand drawn and a little messy. I think it's cuter if they're a little bit wonky. I've been really lately inspired by I see independent painters and artists and things on TikTok, and I love the kind of folk art quality they have, where a lot of it's like art of food, and it looks almost like a kid drew it, but like sophisticated. I don't know. I guess naive or primitive, you might call it. Like the perspective is off, but it's intentional, and it just looks trendy and cool. I don't know how else to describe it, but making things simpler and more folksy looking on purpose. I've been trying to work into what I do instead of worrying about it being right. If it looks good, it looks good. You know, it doesn't have to be Actually, a star would resemble exactly this with 6 identical points. Like, no, I like the rough-looking star better. Trying to get more loose with the things I draw. Alright, I think that's a good amount of stars. I think there's enough filling up the empty space. What are we gonna do? Bring up the opacity of that. I don't think there's any other details I want to draw on bear before I move on to mouse here. Oh yeah, the little paw lines. I need to do those on this layer as well. And the smile and this little line here. I should fix the nose so the center of it lines up with that. Do that in a second. Do a little smile line here. And then, oh yeah, this shape I wanted to do for the fur. Over here. I might raise that up a little as well. I don't know why I'm tilting my head so much. I only notice when I look up at the screen once in a while and I'm like, why? I don't know. I could just tilt the canvas. Funny things you don't notice about your own habits until you observe them in a mirror or something. Alright. I'm okay with that. I might omit it later, but for now we'll leave it. And then we'll get some lines in the paws here. Trim those a little bit. I think that looks about right. Now let's move on to little Mr. Mouse, or Miss Mouse. I don't know what gender the mouse is in Bear in the Big Blue House. Bear with me. Don't know, but little mouse. So I've only seen like some clips of this show. And enough stills of the mouse. The mouse has quite a few reaction gifs and things made of it. So the mouse is more in my mind as a visual than like a speaking character. The faces are too good. And then I want this ear to be similarly big, but I don't want it to bump into Bear's face. So keeping it just a little bit shorter. I think it's good. We'll trim a little bit of length off this ear as well to even them out just a smidge. I think that works. This whole face body shape is going to be one big shape. And then we'll do details on top, the nose, the eyes. But this whole mouse shape can be one layer. And let's lower the opacity. Let's do a nose. I'm just picking random colors. I'm gonna change them in a minute here. For the nose. And the eyes, which I will change the color of. We'll do a clipping mask on that so I can put the pupils right inside. We'll do a clipping mask. And black. Lower the opacity. Oops, we want a pupil here, and a little bit bigger, and then a pupil here. And then we'll see how that looks with the opacity brought up. It looks about right. It's a little lopsided. We'll bring this eye in so it looks a little bit more intentionally cross-eyed, like that. That looks about right. Okay. On the detail layer, we will do the mouth and erase a little bit that's overlapping the nose. do the fat little fingers and arm lines and the fat little toes. Let's do 2 toes. Cute. And then we'll do on a layer underneath the eyes, but above the body we'll do the inner ear color. Oops, I want this to mimic but not match necessarily. It doesn't have to be perfect is what I'm saying. The shape of the ears. So it can be a little bit thinner or a little bit thicker on one side. I think that's okay. There we go. And then we'll do the same on the other side here. Alright, and then we will go and lock all these layers and bring up the opacity of them to 100 and then change the color so it doesn't look like this. Make sure everything is full opacity. And we'll hide that sketch layer because we don't need it anymore. Okay. Looking good, looking good. Alright. Get rid of that sketch layer. Let's change these colors. Let's start with the night sky background because we're going to base a lot of these colors off of that. I'm gonna do a nice dark blue. And then do a gradation to like slightly softer, lighter, but still saturated blue down here at the bottom. Kind of blend that in softly. Might use, what would be good? Maybe I'll use chalk to make it really soft. Oh, I like that. It's simple, but it works. And we'll do a slightly lighter shade at just the bottom. Maybe an even darker shade at the very top, just to add some dimension up top as well. I think that works. And then the clouds will be just slightly lighter than whatever background color they're on. So they stand out, but they're not, you know, super bright. I like that. It's just very wispy. Maybe even a little lighter on the tippy top of the cloud, like so. That. Let's see. You had no idea what was going on with color layers, but you like it. I always do like ugly colors first and then figure out the colors on top. When I was working on a book for a client recently, I sent them my work in progress and I'm like, do not worry, these are not the final colors. Because it was crazy. It was like red and green and purple. It was like, it's literally just so I can see on the thumbnail view over here what layer is what. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the yellow layer, you know? So it made sense to my brain, but I had to clarify with them. I'm like, don't worry, I'm not colorblind. I will fix this. And I did, and they were happy with it, but the work in progress just looked gnarly. I think that looks alright. And then adding some noise on top of all of this will make it look even softer. Maybe even a little bit wispier and brighter, closer to where the moon is. That looks okay. Alright, and the mouse is a lighter, brighter blue, but we're gonna do something that's a little bit darker than him, and then lighten up just the edges. Oh, I gotta fix his toes. Him toes are clinging to the edge of the hand here. We don't need that. The mouse really stands out. Yeah, he won't forever. He'll stand out from his shining personality. We'll do a lot of blues, and then I think I want to do, like on the edge of where the moonlight would be hitting everything, I want to do like their actual colors, like orange and like more pink on the ears. But we're going to do shades of blue for everything first. Let's start with that. Even though the mouse is blue, we'll do, you know, more subtle blue. Let's do like a purpley blue for the inside of the ears. Maybe a little bit darker. And then it can be pink on just the edges where the moon hits. For the eyes, we'll do white, even though I could do an off-white, like a blue. I took some online course in like illustrating for children's books, and they said like no matter the lighting scenario, always for illustrations, always keep the eyes pure white, because you want your young readers' eyes to go right to the character's eyes, because that's kind of like the emotional focal point of the thing. So even if it's pitch black at night, you want those eyes to be white. Okay. I'll take your advice. You have published children's books and I have not, so. Heard. Alright, and then this should be bright enough to where we can see it, but still dark. Maybe we go even darker. Like his fur gets really dark here. No, we want him to be darker than the sky. Let me try out an orange. It doesn't need to be orange. It can be like desaturated and it'll still look really orange up against the moonlight. See how that fades. Like, I feel okay about that. Maybe a little bit more red. That looks so bright though. Like, I'm not mad about it, but it does look a little bright. Maybe it would be even deeper, like... Okay, that color I like with the blue. I like that. That shade of orange, or even a little bit brighter. Looks cool with the moonlight. Maybe I just do the shadow real simple. It's just like a triangle. It's not even like, you know, a super detailed shape. It's just a triangle. Keep it real graphic. I kind of like that. I'm not married to it, but I kind of like it. And we'll do the same thing over here. I kind of like how simple it is, though. Some of the best kids' books have like really simple shadow shapes and things like that. We'll do a similar orange here. And we'll shade it also very simply. His face is a little bit more yellow, I'll keep that in mind. His body's a little bit more orange-brown. I do want to fix, there's a little mistake up here. Right here. These little gaps, fill these in. And then this shape I want to clean up. This should be almost a straight line. There we go. That looks better. Okay. Ooh, maybe where the fur is like where it bends, and it's like that's the shadow. I don't even know if I want that fur shape anymore. It's kind of like killing the vibe, but it also adds some kind of fur texture, so I might just leave it. Changing the color will help. Making it just a slightly darker shade of blue, I think, will help a lot. But I'm kind of into how very basic these shadow shapes are right now.
Maybe that's just me wanting to have another finished piece by the end of the stream. But I also genuinely think it's good. So maybe if we do a highlight here. No, that looks funky. It looks funkier than when it was just that. I'm into keeping shapes very simple. And then we'll do a very simple shadow underneath his head as well. Probably even not this big. I'll bring it in a little bit. Ooh, might have to lighten up the sky behind him a little bit because this shadow color is getting lost in the sky. And I might overlay the whole thing with blue and then just erase where the moon hits too. That might be the move to tint it even more nighttimey. But I like this color where the blue and the orange mix. I'm into that. Maybe I make this just one big curve and then straight. That's simpler, that's better. Alright, I can live with that. And then also fill in these areas. I don't want this to be a gradient inside the shape. Okay, it's a little funky, but I'm not mad at it. And then this, as promised, we're gonna make real simple. This will be the same color as this, and then a little bit darker on the outside of it, but it blends in. So there, it's implied he has another arm. This balcony can be dimmer and softer colored. Doesn't have to be as bright as the moon, but and then it can be a little darker on this side because that's where that paw is casting a shadow a little bit. Okay, I like that. Do the same orange, and we'll try to match even the angle of the shadow so it's all like that. Now how do we make this read against that? The orange obviously pops right against the blue, but maybe make this just a smidge darker. Just so we can see it. Okay, that works. And this also needs paw lines really quick, I just noticed. So you can see what this is supposed to be. It's a paw. There, that makes it a little clearer. Alright, and then for this orange, we want this to be slightly more yellow, but we're going to start with the same orange and then make it more yellow up where the moon is. His nose is a little bit more yellow than even this. Softly bring that yellow in. And his eyebrows are going to be more yellow as well. And that blue... Well, that's the tricky thing now, is I don't want to add necessarily the same blue shading to the face, because then it's just going to blend in with the neck. So I might just leave the face in highlight, because that's the focus anyway, is Bear's face. So I think I'll do that. Also, my face looks crazy in the... like, I'm just making these faces like... It's like when you watch a guitar player play the guitar and they make the craziest faces. I guess that means I'm focused on what I'm doing, but... It is kind of funny. Solid black for the eyes. And we'll add a little highlight. A pure white highlight. Since the eyes themselves are not white, I think the highlight should be pure white to stick to that quote-unquote rule I was talking about. Just to add a little cuteness. I'm just into it. I know, I'm just like leaning and like I got a phone I'm talking on or something. I don't know what's going on. The poses I'm making are surprising me. I'm like, no wonder I need to see a massage therapist because I'm doing all this like weird yoga poses with my neck while I draw. I should go get a massage soon. Alright, yellow. Yellow. On the schnoz and the eyebrows. Which looks super bright with the moon, but I think we'll tone it all down with an adjustment layer. Now this is throwing me off the mouth. I'm gonna have to fix this. We're gonna make this fully outlined. I might have to change the shape, yeah, of the muzzle just a smidge to fix it up. There we go. That looks better. And then, where's the mouth? Where's the mouth? Right here. His mouth is like dark red on the inside. We'll use an orangey dark red. Like a rusty dark red. And then maybe even take that same shadow color inside the mouth too. Maybe not that visible, make it a little more subtle, but something like that. And then for the nose, for the schnoz, it looks like there's blue highlights on it anyway, which makes sense with the moon. So we'll do that. Maybe even the same color as the moon, just to really make that highlight pop. It's cute. It's like a little bit too much detail for the style I'm doing, but I don't hate it. I'm not mad about it. Maybe even like the edge should have like a white, like a whitish blue. That might be the move too. All right, Mr. Mouse, let's figure out. Make a really bright light blue. And then his shading can be just a smidge darker, like here, and also kept very simple. He's kind of losing his ear a little bit in the shading there, so maybe make it not as dark. Mouse can be extra simple. And then the ears, that shading color can stay the same, but let's bring some pink in. Is this about the same angle? Yeah, we want it like the same angle as the shading on the other stuff, because I think that's fun to have it kind of consistent. Like that. That's cute. Then now we gotta change the color of, oh, his nose too. His nose is on the same layer as his eyes. Whoa, didn't want to do that. Chalk, we'll bring it in like there. That's cute, you can see him a little bit better now. We're gonna change the color of this chunk of fur. We're gonna just make it darker blue. I said darker blue, just slightly darker. That makes it less obnoxious, right? Oh, I like it without it too. We'll make it even more subtle. Just like blend in the edges a little bit. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And then change this so this goes up into this part of the shape, like so. And there we go. Now I need white for the inside of the moon to make it look really glowy. We might even do a glow on the outside of the moon as well. I want to try something too. With doing an overlay over everything else. Let's try just a wash of blue. Let's just play with these different layers and see what we can get. Okay. Color is a little much, but because I want it to look like it's at night, you know, so that's okay. But I still want some of that orange and yellow sticking through. But we'll see. Maybe we'll get a really cool monochromatic effect. That one's kind of nice. It's like different. I don't know if I necessarily want to keep that, but it's nice. Overlay. It's all right. Oh. Color dodge. No. Let's go back to color, and then just take it in a little bit. Just makes it a little more muted. The blue and orange, I think that's okay. But I would like to try a little bit of rim lighting with like the bright blue from the moon. Let's even take the exact color of the moon and just brighten it up a little bit. And even lighten it up a little bit more than that, so it's brighter than everything it's touching. And just do some simple rim lighting on the edges of things. Let's try this way, and then I want to try with the chalk brush. I have two different ideas of how to do it. So like I could do it like this, or let me try it on the muzzle. Or if I do a clipping mask on the muzzle, I can do, ooh, I like that better actually, with the chalk. That's softer. Yeah, let's see that. Okay. Let's stick to that, shall we? And just softly bring in some of that moonlight into everything. And we'll keep the shape of it simple as well. Take away that bit, we didn't need that. Isn't that cute? And that brightens up the piece a little bit. Head. Do a clipping mask on that. Do the same thing. And technically, I guess just this little piece would be highlighted, but this wouldn't. Don't overthink it. It's okay. And the same up here. I do want to erase that little bit that's sticking out though, like right here. That's bugging me. That's better. Okay, and I don't... we'll add just a little bit of it on his back. Where's his back? Right here, clipping mask. Just a little bit of it right here. See how that looks. I'm not crazy about it. I guess the moonlight would shine over there, but it adds too much messiness to like the shadows and stuff. Plus you can see that orange really well. We want everything drawing your eye up to the faces of things, so we'll want highlight closer to the face. So I guess I want to do a little bit down here. I think as long as it's on this side of Bear, it kind of makes an arrow pointing up to the face a little bit. That's how I'm justifying it anyway. It's a little far from the moon, so we'll take away some of it. But I think a little bit of it is good. The paw needs some. We'll do a little bit here. Erase a little bit more of it. I can't believe the stream just like blew by. I'm like, yeah, I'm just doing this for the rest of the stream now. And nobody's stopping me, so this is what we're doing. We'll do some on the mouse. It'll be just about time for me to get off and find something to eat anyway, so it'll be perfect. Yeah, this one's turning out cute. I like all the Henson stuff, so I was excited this one came up in the request. I can't remember who requested it, but shout out to whoever you were. The mouse just looks beside himself. I'll do a little bit on the tail as well. A bit of moonlight on the tail. And do... Where's this little ear thing at? Oh, right here. We want to do slightly darker brown for inside the ear. Maybe we'll just use that blue shade as well. There we go. That's better. And then for Mr. Mouse, we want his lines to be blue. Where's the lines? Right here. And not solid black. We're going to soften him up a little bit. Darker than that though, so you can still see. That's better. Mouse looks a little nervous, but he's adorable. His face is just like something else. I might adjust the face before I post it anywhere, but I think this is a solid start. We're gonna do some like funky highlight layer thing with the moon here. We just do a chalk with a super bright blue and then play around with that. Ooh. Color dodge is kind of funky. Hard light, it's kind of fun. It's not quite the right color, but I kind of like it. Vivid light. I had something. Alright. Jillian says, wow, this picture looks cool. Aw. Well, thanks, Bean, for your glowing endorsement. I might call it for the night. My voice is running out anyway. So let's do... This is one I kind of want to revisit with fresh eyes, you know? Because I think it's like 80% of the way there. But rushing it through in one night. Like, I think there's something else I can do to really, like, up it. Like, I think there's not enough contrast or something. Like, there's bones here. Like, I think there's something here. Let me put it back on screen. Full screen it. Adjust my hair. Sit in the center of the camera. Oh my goodness. How far behind is my stream? I'm still watching myself from like 2 minutes ago. Oh my gosh. The lag is crazy. Okay. Yeah, this is what I did this evening. A recap for anyone still watching, lurking in the chat. I did Bear in the Big Blue House stream request. And I also did Deku Mask, Deku Scrub Link holding a Korok. And a finished, quick, simple Korok piece, which I really like this little guy too. Leaf Twig Barks in the third. I think he turned out well. So pretty successful, oh my gosh, where's my folder even at? Okay, wrong folder. Pretty successful series of sketches, I think, for returning to the non-hybrid format of the show. Bean said she likes this. Well, good. Maybe she'll like the actual show Bear in the Big Blue House. It's very, very cute and soothing, so it's worth a shot, even if she's not into puppets. Well, anyway, I'll see you all next week. I'm going to do some more stream requests and maybe do some color on some of the hybrids to finish them off and make them look nice and polished. I think that would be fun and worth doing. So I will see you all in the next stream.